I'd like to call the Jackson County Board of Commissioners meeting for November 15th, 2011 to order. Commissioner Lechka, could you please lead us in the invocation, sir?
Our Heavenly Father, watch over us tonight as we make decisions that affect all of us as well as our constituents and any other people that need to be watched over. Watch over Commissioner Smith and make sure the ones that are hunting are safe. Watch over our armed services and everybody that's watching over us. Amen.
I pledge allegiance.
Stands one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Here.
Commissioner Lechka?
Here.
Commissioner Rice?
Here.
Commissioner Duckham? Commissioner Alexander?
Present.
Commissioner Vidito? Commissioner Mahoney? Commissioner Williams?
Present.
Commissioner Smith? Commissioner Way? Commissioner Elwell?
Here.
Chairman Shetwa?
Here.
We've
Could I have approval of the agenda, please?
Support.
Any additions or changes at this time? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Duly carried, 9-0. At this time, it's Phil Toko and Tom Guthrie could join me on the pedestal, please. I'd appreciate it. I've had the pleasure of working with this individual on many different projects outside of the county. She's always been smiled, enthusiastic, and a pleasure to work with. I've experienced her kayaking on the Grand River and her husband many times. I've run into him at different boat launches. Mike, just so you know, there are a few in the county. And at this time, though, Jan, could you please come forward? Jan has been an employee of Jackson County and MSU Extension for 33 years and is elected to retire at the end of November 2011. Whereas Jan obtained her bachelor's degree from Adrian College and her master's degree from Michigan State University. In addition to other positions at MSU Extension, she became Cooperative Extension Director in February 1, 2001. Jan's current responsibilities are being a statewide coordinator for ServSafe certification. And whereas Jan is highly regarded in her profession for being an outstanding person to work with and has been a mentor to many in the organization, throughout her 33 years of employment with Jackson County, she has been self-motivated, dedicated, and a committed employee. And during her tenure with the county, Jan has earned the respect of her co-workers. Her presence will be greatly missed and everyone she has worked with. Jan is married to her husband, Jim, and has 2 sons, Teddy and Stephen, and 4 grandchildren. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Jackson County Board of Commissioners wishes Jan Seitz the very best for a long and happy retirement and commends her for her 33 years of faithful and dedicated service to the people of Jackson County. It is my pleasure to give you.
Thank you. Pleasure working with you, and I've enjoyed every day that I came to work.
I think we have something here for you also.
Thank you for your help. Thank you.
Any communications or petitions to come before the board? have no special orders or public hearings. We've arrived at the first chance for public comment. Any person may address the board. Please identify yourself. Under the public comment, you have 5 minutes to begin with.
Well, as you can see, I'm new at this. My name is Dustin Krasny, and I'm the field representative for Congressman Tim Wahlberg's office, and I just wanted to stop by and give you a brief update of what the Congressman's been working on in Washington and here at home while he's been in the district. Last week was a district work period. He was able to get out and probably do about 15 coffee hours or open forums where constituents could come throughout the 7 counties and ask questions of the Congressman and have him answer on issues that he's working on in Washington. Obviously, people are still troubled by the job crisis we're having in this district. And the Congressman's working on that on three fronts. Basically, tax reform. We need overall tax reform that provides consistency, transparency, and a little bit of security for the businesses, knowing what the tax levels are going to be, whether it be next year or 5 years, to enable them to plan for their business. And obviously, regulations play a heavy toll on businesses, and we're hearing that throughout the city of Jackson and Jackson County. We've met with probably 20 businesses, toured their factories, toured their plants, spoke with supervisors, management executives, and the workers themselves, and we hear about these examples of egregious regulations. We all believe that we should have great regulations, but there's $1.75 trillion worth of cost on businesses per year. And obviously, like I said, there's a lot of good regulations out there, and there's some onerous ones that we need to take a look at. So that's another aspect of ways that we can help business in this community. Obviously, energy is the third part of Congressman Wahlberg's job plan. Energy continues to go up to increase levels with trouble overseas, as we know, and that's why we believe that we should diversify our energy sources and also increase our energy supply from here domestically to decrease our dependence on foreign sources of energy. With that, I would like to leave a few extra minutes for any questions that you may have for me. But I'd also like to speak on, before I can completely conclude my 4 minutes and 59 seconds. On Tuesday, the President came down and he says that he is against the Balanced Budget Act that the House Republicans will be voting on later this week. It's been a big push by the United States Congress, United States House, led by Republicans, of which Congressman Wahlberg is a member of, and been an ardent supporter of that, and we've tried to push different bills through to get it over to the Senate to pass the Balanced Budget Act. Local areas of government, state governments, they all have to abide by that. And the reason why the federal government hasn't done so to this point is beyond me. For example, for over 900 days, going on 1,000 days, the Senate has not passed a budget. We have all seen the commercials criticizing Congressman Wahlberg and others in the House who have passed a budget, which is their number one responsibility to do so. And you take some criticism with whatever budget you pass, as you guys well know. You guys have done a great job of putting together a budget year after year. So that was sent over to the Senate. The Senate has not passed a budget, as I said, in over 900 days. And they haven't even sent something back for us to work with. And what Congress has been doing, both parties, for decades now, is passing the buck, saying they won't be there in 10 years or 20 years as a member of Congress, and saying it's going to be somebody else's responsibility. Well, now we're at $15 trillion worth of debt, ever increasing, and it's time for people to step up and make tough decisions, and Congressman Wahlberg did that. And we're hoping, although the President has said that he is against the Balanced Budget Act, he has not said that he would veto it. So With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Shotwell, my name is Mark Mulich. I'm a representative of the Sierra Club. I'm the chair of the Central Michigan Group, which is based in Lansing. I'm also on the executive committee for the state. The Sierra Club has 17,000 members in Michigan, over 1.2 million members in the United States. I'd like to talk to you tonight about Camp Waterloo, which was recently featured in the Jackson Citizen Patriot. I don't know how many of the commissioners have had an opportunity to visit Camp Waterloo. I was out there last week. I took some of these photographs, and I think you'll be shocked to find out just what the Department of Corrections has not done out there in regard to taking responsibility for that facility, which has been abandoned for the last 10 years. So with your permission, I'll start a pack of these.
Motion to receive, please. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Go ahead.
You're more than welcome to keep any of these that you wish, and then if the ones that you don't want, I'll collect them at the center. This camp has been abandoned by the Department of Corrections for the last 10 years. It's actually situated on Department of Natural Resources land, but they can't do anything about it because the buildings belong to the Department of Corrections. We feel that now that Director Haynes from Jackson County is now the Director of the Department of Corrections, this is the most opportune time that we could have to make a move on demolishing those buildings. You'll see from these photographs that half of them are burned out. All of them are open to the public. The local police are called out there at least once a month for vandals and arson and who knows what else is taking place. There's open pits out there. People could fall in. Some of them are 10, 12 feet deep. It's a miracle that nobody's been killed out there so far. So what I would recommend that the commissioners do in the next week, I know you can't do it tonight, but pass a resolution to Dan Haynes saying that it's time for the Department of Corrections, not in the next year or 2 years, but as soon as possible to begin demolishing those buildings. I was glad to hear that Mr. Shotwell was a Boy Scout. I was a Boy Scout, Troop 444 a long time ago from Sharp Park School, and got my Eagle Scout out there. Did a lot of hikes in Waterloo. I can tell you that if a child now was to go by that facility with all the broken windows, burned out infrastructure, piles of trash, piles of abandoned clothes, he would have to, or she would have to wonder, what in the world is our state government, and specifically what's the Department of Corrections doing to walk away from such a mess as that. So I have a sort of a sample resolution that I would read. Whereas the Waterloo Recreation Area is the largest recreation area in the Southern Peninsula, where over more than 600,000 people visit Waterloo Recreation Area every year. Whereas the Michigan Department of Natural Resources is the state regulatory agency tasked with maintaining the beauty of the Waterloo Recreation habitat. Whereas the Michigan Department of Corrections built and operated for decades a corrections facility on Mount Road in Waterloo Township. Whereas Camp Waterloo is built and operated by the Michigan Department of Corrections on property owned by the Department of Natural Resources. Whereas this property should rightly be available to the people of Michigan. Whereas the Michigan Department of Corrections abandoned Camp Waterloo over 10 years ago, leaving the facility open to vandals, vagrants, and the natural elements. And whereas the Camp Waterloo now constitutes a public nuisance and a public health hazard and is destructive to the ecology and natural beauty of the Waterloo Recreation Area. Therefore, the Board of Commissioners of Jackson County, Michigan, call on the Department of Corrections Director, Dan Haynes, to immediately begin demolition of Camp Waterloo and to restore it to its original natural state in a timely manner. So this is a suggestion. I hope you would make any revisions, corrections to it, pass it as in the next week or before your next meeting at your workshop, I'd be glad to talk to you about it. I think that if the county, Sierra Club, and the townships send letters to Dan Haynes, then I think that he would take action, because I believe he's a responsible and conscientious person. So thank you very much.
Any other public comment? Public comment is now closed. We have no special meetings of standing committees. Entertain a motion for the October 18th, 2011 regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners.
So move.
We have a motion by Commissioner Alexander, support by Commissioner Way. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Arrived at the consent agenda. Entertain a motion for the consent agenda, please. So moved. I have a motion from Commissioner Williams, support from Commissioner Lechka. Any items to be removed from the consent agenda tonight? Commissioner Elwell.
Mr. Chairman, item E12.
I wrote on this, but I lost my place. Okay. We'll move that to item 14A, become unfinished business for discussion purposes. Any other items? All in favor of the consent agenda, please use your electronic voting system. Consent agenda passed as amended, 9-0. At this time, we've arrived at standing committees. Item 13A, county policies, chaired by Commissioner David Elwell. Commissioner Elwell.
Nothing to report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, David. County affairs and agencies, chaired by Commissioner Dave Lechka. Commissioner Lechka.
Thank you, Chairman. Tonight we have appointments. Two. The first one is to the County Land Bank Authority, and it's a city representative. The city forwarded the name David Taylor. The Affairs Committee recommends the appointment of David Taylor. Support.
We have a motion and support. All commissioners in favor? Aye. Opposed? Duly carried. Commissioner Lechka.
Next is the Parma Township LDFA. It's one board member appointment, and the committee recommends Michael Way. Support.
Any nominations from the floor? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Congratulations, Michael, you're serving unanimously. Commissioner Lechka.
No other items, Chairman.
Human Services Committee, chaired by Commissioner John Williams. John?
Mr. Chairman, we have nothing to come before the board tonight.
Thank you very much. Personnel and Finance, chaired by Commissioner Jim Vitito, Vice Chair Commissioner Mahoney, neither present. Ranking Commissioner David Lechka. Could you please?
There's no business from Personnel and Finance tonight, sir.
At this time, thank you. We have now arrived at unfinished business. We have item 14A, the balanced budget amendment. Your pleasure, commissioners?
Move to table.
We have a motion to table. I have support. Any commission? We have no ability to comment. Let's use our lights to vote. For the table. What do you got? 2, 3, 4 noes, 5 yeses. Have the majority has agreed to table the motion, the resolution at this time? We have no other unfinished business to come before the board. Any new business? Seeing none, we've returned to public comment. Would anyone like to speak to the board? Public comment, second round is now closed. Commissioner comments. I'll give one comment. I spoke to Commissioner Smith. She's doing very well. We talked on the phone for probably 20 minutes, and she has some items that have her very concerned. But otherwise, her health is improving. She goes for another round tomorrow, and she told everyone hello and be ready for her return because she's serious about getting back here. So it went very, very well, the conversation today. Any other commissioner comments? Commissioner Duckham.
I was looking at the pictures of the abandoned prison site, and I couldn't help but wonder who took those pictures, and I wonder if they happened to notice the no trespassing signs.
Any other commissioner comments? Mr. Williams.
Mr. Chairman, as the committee is well aware, I was the individual who brought the resolution before the board for the balanced budget amendment. I appreciate that individuals had concerns and wanted to maybe take a little bit more time to take a look at the tenets of what that motion or resolution was asking for. I was comfortable, obviously, with that resolution. I thought the extra week and 4 days since our study committee where it came up, if anybody had questions, they could have certainly brought them forward to me, and I didn't get many questions about the resolution itself, but then again, that's what I do. As an instructor of political science, we look at it all the time. We talk about the federal government and the structure of the federal government and where the federal government gets its money. But I fully appreciate and understand that other commission members may have indeed had some concerns, and I'm hopeful that we can work to something that's a bit of a compromise. The federal government is going to be taking this issue up. If there's any time where we could have an impact on what is going on in Washington, D.C., it's now. If we don't do it collectively, I'm hopeful we'll do it in our own individual capacity. Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Seeing none, we are adjourned.
I'd just like to make a comment in regards to the resolution itself, and I certainly respect the views of each and every commissioner, and it's certainly okay that we disagree. In fact, obviously at times it's healthy for that. As we move forward, though, I really would like everyone to at least consider the fact that this resolution obviously had a purpose and it had a reason behind it. This resolution is something that has been talked about in different ways at this level. It's been talked about at the state level. It's been talked about at the federal level for a long time. It's nothing new. This resolution that was brought out certainly is nothing new, and it's not new in regards to what you hear economists say, and we can go on and on and on. On the other hand, as we move forward, I was looking at an organization called the Coalition for Fiscally Sound America, and they do dramatic work when it comes to our federal debt, when it comes to the public, elected officials, and so on and so forth. And one of the comments they made in there is that all elected officials should take our federal debt seriously, and I know all of us do. Regardless of how we voted, I know we all take it seriously. But again, as we move forward, I'd just like to everyone to take that in consideration, because when they mentioned elected officials, they weren't talking just about state officials or federal officials. So I would just like to make that point. And just real quickly, I would like to just make one last comment here. And I'm not saying this is everyone's view here as commissioners, but I will say this. It is my strong view that we as commissioners, we meet our fiduciary responsibilities, whether it's in our districts or whether it's in Jackson County. In no way have we failed to address the needs of our districts or Jackson County while we have looked at this resolution. In fact, I would say it's just the opposite. We have continued to serve the people that we have elected, and we have not put them on the back burner, and we've continued to, again, serve the public that has elected us. And I just want to make that point. Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Seeing none, we are adjourned.